Oh boy, it's been a hell of a week. From PlayStation fans crashing out, Insomniac making weird claims, well, weird tweets, I should say, and obviously more games will likely be coming. Well, I say obviously, but it's looking like if Helldivers 2 does well, more games will be coming over to Xbox, and PlayStation fans aren't sitting very kindly with this. It looks like they are now going through their 7 stages of grief, and I have to say, sitting on the opposite side of the table this time, I can see the amusing side to it as you're watching each and every single one of them, barring a couple who have already accepted and moved on, crashing out. And boy, is it going to get completely out of control should a certain franchise make it across the pond. By a pond, I mean consoles. But first thing first, what we're going to do is talk about gaming, because that is the name on the thumbnail, and I want to focus on that, not on the trolling, even though it is a nice segue to start. Halo. And it looks like, despite Halo Infinite not hitting the 10 million mark, which was obvious because of Game Pass, Halo 5 Guardians, considering how much it was actually looked down upon, despised by the community, actually sold really well. In fact, it sold nearly 10 million copies on Xbox, the same with Halo 4. Now, both of these were pretty much looked down upon. Halo reaches kind of like the pinnacle when it comes to Halo gaming. You got ODST, which is phenomenal. Halo 1, 2, and 3 are just classics. Those were the glory Bungie years, right? Halo 1, 2, 3, ODST, Reach, and then, you know, Microsoft took over with Halo 4 and 5, and it kind of didn't really work out. But despite that, both games sold over 10 million copies, which is absolutely crazy. And for all those people that said Halo 4 and 5 were complete flops, it's insane to see that they were all completely wrong. Now, I know what you're going to say, Chaos. Why do you care about sales? I absolutely don't. But it's nice to see that, you know, the games that I personally enjoyed, there were other people that did enjoy them as well. You know, I actually enjoyed Halo 4 and Halo 5 for what they were. Sure, they weren't the masterpieces that ODST was and Halo Reach was, but they were still good games in my eyes. You know, Halo 5 probably weaker of the two, but at the end of the day, I still enjoyed it nonetheless. So it kind of goes back to that whole kind of looking back retrospectively. It's something that happens a lot within the Final Fantasy community. When they look at games now, like Final Fantasy 13 was looked at the time as a really bad game. Look at it in the lens of today, and people want it and praise it. Final Fantasy 15, when it launched, was looked upon really badly. Now it's praised quite highly. So it's kind of a bit of the same, but I was there at the time enjoying gaming as I always do. So it's really good to see that these games actually did do well. And as you can see here, drove large-scale development of Halo 4 and 5, managing a 150-plus multidisciplinary team from pre-production through launch, resulting in the delivery of 2 AAA titles that sold nearly 10 million units each worldwide. That's insane, man. That's crazy. That's pretty damn good to see that despite all the hatred that Halo 4 and 5 did receive, they sold relatively well. And that probably explains why Infinite came, not why it didn't get any of the updates that they promised. Microsoft, you really let us down with that one. So for all you Fallout fans out there, well, Fallout 5 has kind of been confirmed. Well, it's a rumor, but according to Jez Corden, who's generally more right than wrong, Fallout 5 has been fully greenlit with development moving forward. It is unknown at this time which team is behind development. However, the rumor is at the moment that's going around quite strongly that unannounced ZeniMax game, that MMO, was basically cancelled in place of this taking center stage and pushing this one because they believe this one would basically perform better. Now, whether that is true or not is unknown, and we'll probably have to wait another 15, 20, maybe even 30 years before we actually see, you know, Fallout 5 materialize. But at least you know that your children or your grandkids will one day at least get to play Fallout 5. I mean, your grandkids are still waiting for Elder Scrolls 6, right? So, has anyone even seen a shred of gameplay for the new Elder Scrolls outside of a title screen? Yeah, people should need to stop showing games that are like 50 years out. There's no point. There's no point. Call of Duty Black Ops 7 worldwide reveal at opening night live. Now, I really wanted to go to Gamescom this year, and unfortunately I was not able to due to my health and other factors that basically impeded me. I'm hoping to be there next year if all is going well and I'm still doing this gig by that point. Now, opening night live is going to start at 8 p.m. CEST, which is basically 7 p.m. that it falls on a Tuesday. Now, I will be live probably from around 6 to 6:30 on Tuesday, so we are going to start early to check this out live on my YouTube stream, so hopefully I'll see a bunch of you there. But we are going to see a worldwide reveal of Call of Duty Black Ops 7. Now, on top of this, what we're actually going to see is, well, I don't know if we'll probably, well, we should see it because actual gameplay versions where you can go and actually play Resident Evil 9, Pragmata, and Onimusha are going to be present at the show. Now, there's probably going to be a ton of other games that are going to be there, but Pragmata being playable is a very, very good sign. Resident Evil 9 being playable is an even better sign, considering it wasn't announced that long ago. Having a playable version for people to get their hands on is going to be epic. What game would you like to see at, opening night live? Let me know in the comment section below. And if you have enjoyed this video up until now, do consider leaving a like and subscribe and hitting that bell to stay up to date with all content I release. It really helps the channel and the video grow and get recommended to wider audience. Let's see if we can hit 200 likes for this video. Okay, as we were continuing, so Yoshi P had an interview and a bit of details came out with what's next, what's going on, and what's the future for Square Enix and Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy, as you know, is a beloved franchise to me, and I absolutely love them. But obviously, they've been neglecting Xbox for a while, and now we've had Final Fantasy 16 released on there, which is great. Final Fantasy 7 Remake is just around the corner. May even actually shadow drop, which I really hope it doesn't, by the way, because shadow drops suck. But it may drop somewhere around the video games live, so online games live, and hopefully we'll get to see that soon. I know they said fall, so maybe it's going to come later. I really hope it just gets the marketing it actually needs so more people are aware. It turns out that with Final Fantasy 16, with it being shadow dropped, people didn't even know of its existence for the first week. This is why those splash things that Microsoft does sometimes do come in handy, because they actually notify the users, especially when it comes to a shadow drop. However, Yoshi P says, I'm not necessarily on Final Fantasy 17, but it looks like he is going to have some kind of involvement, and this pretty much, we all knew Final Fantasy 17 is going to come, but this kind of confirms that it exists. We will strive for multi-platform release moving forward, so the age-old times where Square Enix were doing exclusive deals with PlayStation seems to be a thing of the past, and it looks like this is now going to be a multi-platform release, and this will probably be the first test we really get to see just how well these multi-platform releases day and date will do. So people constantly say that Xbox gamers don't turn up, don't buy these games, and it's a waste of time. This to me is going to be the the real test to see how much of that is actually false, true, or whatever. Because if the game doesn't sell at all, regardless, then we'll see. I can see Square Enix probably pulling away from that again. Although with the next console being hybrid PC or more PC than console, at the end of the day, it looks like Microsoft's approach is to, hey, we don't want to have 3 SKUs for you to develop for Series S, Series X, and PC. We just want you to have one centralized SKU, which is PC, and it will work on our console. We'll do the rest, and I think that's the right approach for Microsoft. It also reduces development costs for studios. It also just shortens down development life cycles, especially for these multi-plat games, because they kind of reduce the amount of testing they need to do and the amount of bugs that can possibly appear. So this is actually a good thing that Microsoft is doing for the industry, even though people think it's not. Final Fantasy 17 not locked to turn-based. So a lot of commotion was going around Expedition 33 and how turn-based became sexy again and how it was awesome, and people wanted Final Fantasy to return to that. Square Enix is taking a keen eye on Expedition 33 and its success, and the fact that turn-based actually was really good. I really hope that if they do look at turn-based at least going back to it, they don't solely focus on the parrying and the dodge. I think that worked well for Expedition 33, but I don't think it would work in a Final Fantasy setting. I think it would just be too different. So either keep it turn-based or action-based. I don't mind either, but just pick a lane and stick with it. Not a clear-cut answer whether it will become all turn-based or if it's going to become more action-based. And I think they just need to pick that lane depending on the Final Fantasy they're making. I enjoyed Final Fantasy 16, and the combat was pretty damn sweet. It was really, really good. In fact, the combat was, I think the Devil May Cry combat developer actually helped develop the combat in this, and you can tell as well. So really good stuff coming from Square Enix, and hopefully we'll get to see more at Gamescom. So I made this post, right? Xbox and Spider-Man. And it looks like this has really, really hit some of the PlayStation fans the wrong way. Because obviously if this hits, the crash out's going to be legendary, right? We all know this. But this is what Hiroki wants. And my genuine thought on this is, number one, I mean, look, I've got all the platforms, right? So this doesn't affect me. I've played these games already. But people can't afford all platforms. So this game has matured and has done everything it can on PlayStation. It's not making any more money. It's not really selling any more consoles. So if it comes over to Xbox at that point, then, you know, it's a whole new revenue stream for them. They'll make more money, and it's just easy cash in from a port. The game already exists on PC. They'll probably port the PC version over to Xbox. That's the one that makes the most logical sense. So it becomes a lot more simpler. But I did say Sony and PlayStation will make a lot of money to fund their next games. Now, obviously, Quarter here is correct. It's to make money for the shareholders. But I can be a idealist, right? I can hope for the best. And it seems like a lot of people have seriously crashed out on this. Like, really crashed out, saying I'm capping and all this. All I'm saying is your tweets are here. And if it happens... oh boy. That's all I'll say on that. But folks, that's it. That's the video. I hope you've enjoyed it, and that's a bit of a long one. We've got quite a bit covered in this video, but I do hope you enjoyed the video. And if you have, please do consider leaving a like. We're trying to hit that 200 likes. Do consider leaving a sub if you are enjoying the content or returning. We do have like 70% of you who are returning viewers who are not yet subscribed. It would really help the channel and help me get to that 10,000 goal for the year. And of course, don't forget to hit that bell to stay up to date with all content I release. I will be streaming again tonight, but we'll be covering a lot of these stories as well and going into more depth. Well, folks, that's it. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out and remain legend.